This is where you steal the show. Nobody knows your name. Make them remember your name.
Some boy, he gonna go down. Oh, that's a 50. That's a 50. Slow motion. I'm not refereeing the basketball, man. If you hit the glass, come on, KD, that's crazy.
What'd I tell you? What'd I tell you?
Mac McClung just single-handedly saved the NBA dunk contest. In this 2023 All-Star break, we saw the young point guard win a fading contest in dazzling fashion. Previous years had seen smaller and smaller player names compete with continued disinterest from fans, from becoming a viral sensation in high school to losing the spotlight in college, and now struggling to get a full contract in the league. The McClung rollercoaster has just hit a new high after winning the dunk contest. What's up, everybody? This is Mad Hoops, bringing the hottest NBA content to YouTube once again. Make sure you subscribe if you like the content. Show me some love in the comments as well.
Mac McClung will throw it down on the reverse dunk.
Mac McClung has been no stranger to the viral nature of his powers above the rim. The spotlight has followed him as far back as a small-town high school trying to bring his school their first state championship. Growing up in Gate City, Virginia, McClung grew up in a hyper-athletic family from a town of just 2,000. His father played D1 football and his sister went to school for soccer. It was a competitive household that seemed to fully culminate in a young Mac. When his parents reflect on the early years, they reference having to ban him from the home gym to let his older sister work out, or even trying to race eating cereal. Before he wasn't allowed in the home gym, and probably after the inhaling of a bowl of Lucky Charms, the young McClung found his favorite workouts were the ones working on his vertical leap. It's funny looking back at those moments of a kid who simply liked jumping in the gym in his basement to now being known as one of the elite dunkers in basketball. By the time Mac hit high school, he hadn't fully focused his athleticism on the game of basketball. His father had football, sister had soccer, and he'd have this. The training was relentless. McClung was determined not to just be a good ball player, he was going to be one of the best. With the competitive fire reined in on one sport, the young point guard was playing varsity by his sophomore year and started building a full-fledged dunk package. Again and again over the years, McClung would throw down a furious slam over the bigger competition. He would go through the legs and through the swooped mid-2010s hairstyle to catapult his game beyond small-town Virginia. Videos of his dunks took over Hoops internet. One after the other, his game went viral and racked up millions of views. The kid went from a hometown stud to a national talking point. He would have to stay after his games to sign autographs and take pictures with the young fans. By the end of his senior year, he'd walk away from the high school game with the state championship and the all-time leading scorer in Virginia's boys basketball, a record previously held by Allen Iverson. This is where McClung's story gets even more interesting. Although the prospect had a big name, he wasn't getting scouts' attentions as it might suggest. His viral fame was strangely paired with a 3-star recruiting ranking. McClung felt disrespected, but ready to work and get better. After Georgetown head coach and NBA legend Patrick Ewing saw the kid play, Mac was headed to DC. And right away, Mac was set to be a contributor. He'd finish his freshman season averaging 13 points. No, it wasn't Gate City hero numbers like back home, but it took a second for him to adapt to the better play of collegiate competition. He also started to show flashes that he couldn't be purely kept in the box of just dunking. Although his shooting was below average, some nights he'd be hot and start to develop a more noticeable inside-outside game. During his second year at Georgetown, he would raise his scoring average to 15 ppg and stabilize his three-point shooting to being respectively average. This was also a season of battles as McClung dealt with a nagging foot injury, an injury his competitive spirit wouldn't seem to accept as he came back early from recovery to play with his team again. At the end of the season, McClung declared for the NBA draft, but then he backed out of it. Whether it was due to a legit lack of interest from pro scouts or because deep down he knew he wasn't ready, Mac decided to do another year of college. By this point, his viral high school dunks were starting to look like a thing in the rearview mirror. He'd still crack some monster ones in the college games, but at 6'2", he seemed to have finally met his match athletically. His weaknesses were also glaring. It was clear the young point guard repeatedly put his racing blinders on and would miss open teammates. He would struggle to get his teammates involved and would often launch difficult shots. His return to college was a chance to refine his game and take another crack at getting drafted to the pros. Before his third year, McClung entered the transfer portal and landed at Texas Tech.
The road, McClung for the win! Oh my God! goodness. Mac McClung.
There, he hoped to play even stronger competition and be able to show scouts he can handle it with the best of them. Unfortunately, that wasn't totally what happened. His box score averages would look eerily similar to his previous Georgetown year. But after feeling like he sharpened his game enough and that it was his time to take the plunge, McClung again declared for the draft. In 2021, he went undrafted and started his professional basketball journey hopping around G League teams. In interviews, he'd mentioned that he did get offers to go play overseas for more money, but that he felt like this was the right move to help him reach his true dream. That competitive spirit held steady as it turned away high-value contracts. He found the majority of his first year being with the South Bay Lakers. There he started to really unlock his game and walk away with G League Rookie of the Year. The key difference that started to elevate him was his playmaking. Until that point, McClung was a score-first point guard that barely averaged above 2 assists. Now, he finished that season averaging 7.5. The tunnel vision hero ball started to fade from the viral dunker's game. During the season, he'd also got called up for a game with the LA Lakers and another with the Chicago Bulls. He'd then find his next opportunity playing in summer leagues for teams such as the Warriors. But still, he failed to make a legitimate roster spot. Perhaps it's his size, maybe it's plainly average shooting, maybe it's a whole bunch of things. Either way, McClung went back to the G League grind and signed with the Bluecoats this year. And then in February, he got his next big shot after signing a two-way deal with the 76ers. 4 days after signing the contract, the NBA dunk contest happened, and the man crushed it. He's the first G League player to ever be invited to participate. Those viral videos in Virginia might be a long way away, but they still seem to come in handy for moments like these. McClung busted out his best moves and dropped the jaws of even the NBA superstars. Whether it was a double pump reverse slam or a 540 spinning dunk, Mac didn't miss a single attempt. He made 4 dunks that night and so far has played just 2 NBA games. He didn't just save the dunk contest, he saved his career. You had legends like Shaq coming to the same conclusion.
I'll give a shout out to Mac McClung. He definitely saved the dunk contest. That was a beautiful performance.
For some reason or another, Shaq recorded his face to every one of McClung's dunks last night. In between the oohs and ahs, he talked to the young man and told him how impressed he was. Mac McClung should definitely expect to get at least some level of playing time after that, even if it's just garbage minutes. He's been able to grind his way and trust his gut all the way to this point. All he has to do is make it to next year's dunk contest, which, so we're all clear, is not a contest totally out of the woods yet. The NBA is going to need to find more players like McClung that can wow the crowd even if they're not league superstars. The last few years were basically regarded as an absurd amount of attempts for barely entertaining moves. Implementing a clock was a nice touch to keep things moving, but if you're as nice as Mac McClung, you only need one shot. Peace.